recording.
Let's go.
Hi guys, I'm Richard and this is Overtino, and today we're going to be exploring Seoul, South Korea. So we're going to be looking at my top 5 things to do in Seoul, and we're already on our way to the first place. We're taking the underground to get there, and as you'll see, everything in Seoul is so clean and modern. Down on the platforms they have these barriers and sliding doors to stop any accidents of people getting on the tracks, and then you can see inside it's just clean, everybody's respectful, they have certain seating for pregnant people or elderly people, and nobody sits in those seats at all, even if the place is completely full, unless they're obviously allowed to sit there. We've arrived in the station and come across this gate that is a gate of youth. If you pass through it, you're supposed to add years to your life. As we approach the first place, we're just taking in the station. It's more like a museum, really. Kind of amazing to see something like this, not what I was expecting at all. And as we head out of the station, we can start to see some colourful gardens, which may be a little clue as to the sort of place we're heading towards now. We saw this guy in the traditional clothing, but he was actually asking me for directions, so he must have also been a tourist, which is kind of funny. But anyway, we have arrived here at our first stop, and it is Gyeongbokgung Palace. There are a couple of palaces that you can see, but this is the one that was open while we were there. I imagine the other is quite similar, but we'll go through the experience of this one. Straight away, even at the entrance, you can see the stunning detail in the architecture. And this is literally just the entrance, so we've got quite a way to go yet. To go further into the palace, you have to buy a ticket, but it is super affordable. It came in about £1.75 per person. Initially, as you enter, you go through a couple of large squares, and it was quite busy in there to begin with. I actually thought that was the extent of the palace at first, but I was completely wrong. As you advance through it, you can see more spaces, you can start to see inside the buildings, which have some amazing detail in there. And then when you progress even further, you end up in sort of a labyrinth of streets around the back with all smaller buildings. And I'll just do an overview of that now without me talking, so you can get more of a feel of what the place is like. We're just making our way out of the gardens of the palace, and we've spotted this tower hidden between the trees. We found out it's the National Folk Museum. Now, I feel like this almost deserves a mention on its own, but I'm going to include it still as the first thing to do because it is within the grounds of the palace. And to get to experience all of this for less than £2 a person is honestly an absolute steal, and that is why it's the first thing on my top 5 things to do in Seoul. So now we'll start making our way to the second place on my list as we head back through the gardens. We're just taking in the final few sights as we head outside of the walls of the palace. And on our way, we've come across a fortune telling machine based on personality types, so we're going to give it a go.
I know your INTJ.
I'll just open it and then we'll play it.
Yeah?
Oh, it's all in Korean.
Oh,
It's yours in English.
mine's in English.
So I used the Google Translate feature a little bit later to translate it so I could understand what it meant. And it was basically split into a few sections. There was a bit on health, love, work, and then more of a general bit. It was all positive. But the general message of it was telling me to sit down and take some time on something. And obviously, these things are made to take your own meaning from it. So I'm going to take it that it was talking about this video series to sit down and take the time to put it all together and release it, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. And as I've been explaining that, you've probably seen we're already well on our way to the second place. We've passed a few cool little stops on the way, and now we're heading back on the underground. We've made it to the second stop on our list, or at least the beginning of it. We are at the Seoul city wall, which runs along what was previously the border of the city. And there's something pretty special at the top, so let's make our way up there.
Very nice, isn't it?
We've stopped off at this really nice cafe at the top of the hill, so we're going to get a little bit of a bite to eat to refresh, and then we'll carry on. The walk up wasn't too bad actually. I thought it might be a bit more intense than it was, but it was perfectly fine. And there is another reason we've come up here. There's something else to see, but I'll let you take this in for now, and then we'll head over there. We've just left the cafe, absolutely amazing spot, amazing views. We had a couple of drinks up there, just really nice place to chill for a bit. And now we're heading down into the Mural Village. It's a residential place, so you need to keep quiet and be respectful. But it's a great place to see some cool graffiti and artwork on the walls. Loads of cool art there. I don't think we even saw all of it, but we got a good taste for it. And we're going to walk through a few of the shops around here and then make our way to the third place on the list. And my third thing to do is visit East Gangnam, where there is loads of stuff to do, so let's get straight into it. First up, we're visiting a traditional temple. Now, there aren't many of these in the city centre. You have to travel out to see them usually, so this is a nice little hidden gem to experience first. As you'll be able to see, a proper authentic experience, really nice and peaceful there. I even went into the temple to show my respects and sort of observe what was going on. It didn't feel right to take the camera in with me, but it was a really nice, peaceful experience in there. And once again, I'll just do a little montage here to give you a feel of the outside of it before we move on to the next place. Now we're going to head across the road, and straight away you'll see the contrast from this traditional temple into a modern shopping centre. And in there, The thing that we're going to see is Starfield Library, which is a huge bookstore, and it's just an amazing sight to see if you're in Gangnam. So let's take a closer look. I'm not sure how well the camera captures the scale of the place, but it's huge and a must do if you're into your books. But now we're going to head outside to see some of the architecture, and you'll see just how modern it is. I was surprised it's quite westernised with the glass towers and the LED signage. There's also a few sculptures and statues, including one we specifically came to see, which is the Gangnam style statue. So let's take a bit of a look around. As you've just seen, we did find the Gangnam style statue, and they do actually have the song playing on repeat, but I can't include on here, so I've had to put a different song over the top. But at least you got to see us make a fool of ourselves dancing to it anyway. And we've just travelled on the underground a few stops to get to our next point, which is going to be number 4 on my 5 things to do in Seoul. So let's see where we're going. At this next place, we're going to get some food and drinks. And don't worry, it's not the 7-Eleven. It's actually just around the corner from it. And it's a place called Art Monster. And this is a really cool place where you can go in and they've got a selection of beers. It's self-service, so when you go in, you just get a wristband and you scan whichever beer you want. You can go and get refills and top yourself up. And you can get a bit of food as well while you enjoy the drinks. And it's also got this really cool entrance that is worth going for just on its own. So let's take a look inside.
I think I'm a bit drunk.
I think we were both a bit drunk after that, to be fair, so time to head back to the hotel where we're going to reveal the final of my 5 things to do in Seoul. And as you'll see on the way back, the streets are filled with these amazing neon signs everywhere. And back at the hotel, we've come up to the rooftop bar that's got this amazing view of the city and of the Seoul Tower. Thanks for sticking with us till this point. And it's finally time to reveal the 5th thing on the list, which is to see the DMZ, which is a day trip to the North Korean border. Now this is an entire day's worth of stuff, so there's too much to go through, but I've done a full video on it that's already on my channel, so if you want to check that out, make sure you look at my last video. It really is an amazing trip and a must-do if you're in Seoul. If you don't already know, this video is part of a series where we are travelling across Korea and Japan. And here's a sneak peek of what's still to come in the series. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and a comment down below. If you want to keep up with the rest of the series, make sure you subscribe, and you should be able to watch 1 or 2 of the videos somewhere on the screen here, or maybe over here. And until then, see you next time.